I'm Gary Anthony Ramsey with your Our News Now Rewind. Stories making headlines for the week ending October 23rd, 2010. Our top stories include, with more than a week before the midterm elections, polls show some key Senate races tightening. NPR fires TV commentator Juan Williams after comments he made about Muslims on Fox News. 19 years after Clarence Thomas' appointment to the Supreme Court, his wife calls Anita Hill demanding an apology. A Virginia school book claims that thousands of blacks fought for the Confederacy during the Civil War. A Sesame Street skit about black hair goes viral, and a TV and movie veteran passes away. Our top story. With the midterm elections creeping closer and closer, the Republicans and the Democrats are scrambling to get their bases out to the ballot box. With at least 12 key Senate races and dozens of House seats up for grabs, some polls show the races tightening across the country. In Colorado, a Reuters poll shows Democrat Michael Bennet within 3 percentage points of Tea Party-backed candidate Ken Buck. In Wisconsin, Democrat Russ Feingold, who was considered all but beaten, is as close as 2 points to Republican Ron Johnson. And in the wake of a controversial ad, Democrat Jack Conway appears to be gaining ground on Tea Party favorite Ron Paul. But that was about all the good news there was for Democrats. Many of those same polls show that 24% of people who helped put Barack Obama into office 2 years ago will now vote for the GOP. With low approval numbers, Team Obama rolled out the more popular resident of the White House this week. Michelle Obama stumped for candidates in several states, including Connecticut and Ohio.
So tell me something, Ohio. If you are still as fired up and ready to go as you were 2 years ago, then I know that we can keep bringing about the change that I know, that we all know. We can keep that American dream alive. So I'm going to ask you something. Can we do this? Can we do this?
The controversial subject of gays in the military got even more so this week as the Pentagon instructed recruiters that they can accept people who say they are openly gay. The notice comes even as the administration seems to be trying to slow down the move to abolish don't ask, don't tell in the courts. Federal Judge Virginia Phillips rejected the latest effort to stop her order, which overturned the 17-year policy. At least 2 openly gay service members who were discharged for their sexual orientation have attempted to reapply to the armed forces since the announcement. Ron Williams was fired by National Public Radio after comments he made about Muslims on Fox News' Bill O'Reilly show. Williams, who's a regular on the cable network, was talking about O'Reilly's previous comments about Muslims killing Americans on 9/11.
But I think you're right. I think, look, political correctness can lead to some kind of paralysis where you don't address reality. I mean, look, Bill, I'm not a bigot. You know the kind of books I've written about the civil rights movement in this country. But when I get on a plane, I got to tell you, if I see people who are in Muslim garb, and I think, you know, they're identifying themselves first and foremost as Muslims, I get worried. I get nervous.
NPR CEO Vivian Schiller said that Williams' role at NPR is that of a news analyst, and that he'd been warned previously about giving his opinion. She said, quote, "News analysts may not take personal positions on controversial issues. Doing so undermines their credibility. This isn't the first time we have had serious concerns about some of Juan's public comments." As for Williams, Fox News quickly offered him a $2 million contract for his trouble, and there's no word yet on if he plans any legal action against his now former employer. Well, this week, we heard a name that hasn't been in the spotlight for 19 years. Anita Hill made headlines when she revealed that the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas called her by phone demanding an apology. Ms. Hill, who is a professor at Brandeis University, says the request was found on her answering machine at work. She turned over the tape to the FBI, but not before playing it for the New York Times. Mrs. Thomas said in part, quote, "I would love you to consider an apology and some full explanation of why you did what you did to my husband." Ms. Hill released a statement of her own in which she called the call inappropriate and that she has no intention of apologizing because she, quote, "testified truthfully." In Arizona, a lawsuit is filed on behalf of Tucson teachers who say a new law banning ethnic studies in the state is unconstitutional. The lawsuit names state school superintendent Tom Holm as a defendant. The new law forbids classes that promote racial solidarity or that advocate the overthrow of the government, describing those classes as ethnic chauvinism. Tucson teachers said they would ignore the law, but the state has vowed to cut funding to programs if they continue. In Virginia, a different kind of ethnic bend, as a textbook claims that thousands of blacks fought during the Civil War, but not for the North as is widely known, but rather for the Confederacy. The book is entitled Our Virginia, Past and Present, and was written by Joy Massoff. She's not a trained historian, but says she stands by her book despite being scoffed at by historians who say it is a misrepresentation. But Southern lore has always contained stories of blacks who fought for the South under direct orders from their masters. A book called Black Confederate has also made the same claim. In your Our News Now World Wrap, in Haiti, an outbreak of cholera has killed more than 150 people, and the death toll continues to rise. So far, there are more than 1,500 reported cases of the disease in the central part of the country. The streets are lined with people suffering from diarrhea, dehydration, fever, and vomiting. This is the worst single wave of death since the deadly earthquake in January that killed more than 300,000 people and left more than 1 million homeless to this day. In France, more unions are threatening to join a nationwide strike that's already crippled public and even private transportation. Strikers are protesting the government's move to raise the retirement benefit age from 65 to 67. The measure comes as many European countries are trying to deal with rising debt. The lower French House approved the measure last week, and the French Senate is expected to do the same. In Germany, the Chancellor says that country's attempt at multiculturalism has been a, quote, utter failure. Angela Merkel made the comments during a speech she gave to members of her Christian Democratic Union Party. She says that immigrants should now be required to learn German, something she says will leave less immigrants unskilled and dependent upon welfare. Because of its low indigenous birth rate, many Germans fear that they'll be outpopulated by immigrants in the next few decades. That's your World Wrap. In sports news, the National Football League is considering suspending players who use illegal hits during games. The move comes after several high-profile collisions, which left some players limp on the field. One of those hits took place in Philadelphia last week when Eagles wide receiver Deshaun Jackson was hit by cornerback Dunta Robinson. Both players didn't move for several moments after Robinson lowered his head to tackle Jackson. They both eventually got up, but both suffered concussions. Some critics say the suspensions will let the players know the league is serious about safety and the rules that are supposed to safeguard them. A new Sesame Street skit is burning up the internet. It speaks to African American girls and says they should be proud of their hair.
Really love my hair. My head.
One link shows more than 2 million hits on the skit, which of course can be seen on the public broadcasting station near you. And finally, an accomplished actress of the big and small screen passed away this week after suffering an apparent heart attack. Janet McLaughlin, who played opposite some of the big names among African American male actors in the 70s, passed away in her home in California. But McLaughlin, who had roles on I Spy, Star Trek, and The Rockford Files, may be best remembered for her key role in the movie Sounder in 1972. She plays the teacher who would change the life of David Lee Morgan.
My name is Camille Johnson. I'm the supervisor of this school. What's your name?
David Lee Morgan. My dog's name is Sounder.
McLaughlin was born in New York but spent most of her adult life in California. In 1982, she produced an Emmy Award-winning documentary about black poetry. Janet McLaughlin was 77. For a complete look at any of the stories you've seen on The Rewind, remember, as always, go to the bottom of the webpage, find the link of the story you'd like to see, and click your way through. That's your Our News Now Rewind for this week. I'm Gary Anthony Ramsey.